That's true.
A man calmly walking inside Mexico's most secure prison wasn't just any prisoner. He was El Chapo, the world's most dangerous and powerful drug lord. Special CCTV cameras had been installed in his cell for round-the-clock surveillance. With no windows or skylights, the only blind spot was a small shower area in the corner of the cell. And yet, despite all the high-level security, El Chapo casually moved toward that shower, and no one on duty noticed. Nearly 30 minutes passed before the guards grew suspicious. They entered the cell, but the world's most infamous drug trafficker was already gone. So where did he go? And more importantly, how did he escape? Let's take a closer look at El Chapo's life and the shocking story behind his prison break. Born in 1957 in a small town called La Tuna, Mexico, El Chapo's real name is Joaquin Guzman, though he later became known worldwide as El Chapo. His involvement in the drug trade wasn't accidental. His father, a small-time drug dealer himself, kicked him out of the house at a young age. Left with nothing, El Chapo turned to the only trade he knew, drugs. At just 15, he started growing marijuana in remote areas. Over time, his drug operation grew so large that even major Mexican drug cartels began noticing him. In the 1970s, he joined a trafficking group led by Hector El Güero Palma, where he managed drug shipments. El Chapo earned a reputation for being ruthless, killing anyone who delayed deliveries or made costly mistakes. By 1980, he moved up the ladder, joining the cartel of the infamous Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo, the godfather of Mexican drug trafficking. El Chapo was now in charge of logistics, overseeing shipments from Colombia to Mexico. But when Gallardo was arrested in 1989, the cartel splintered, and El Chapo seized the opportunity. He formed his own cartel, naming it the Sinaloa Cartel, which would go on to become one of the most powerful drug empires in history. At the time, drugs entered the U.S. primarily through two routes, the Caribbean and the Mexican border. As American agencies cracked down hard on the Caribbean route, El Chapo saw an opportunity. He began smuggling drugs across the Mexican border. Using ingenious and brutal tactics, he trafficked everything from meth, heroin, and ecstasy to cocaine and marijuana, focusing on high-profit drugs. To smuggle cocaine, which has little scent, he used creative methods, hiding it inside fire extinguishers, chili pepper containers, and even car rims, making it undetectable to sniffer dogs. But for drugs with stronger odors, El Chapo devised his signature method, underground tunnels. He spent millions hiring engineers to construct elaborate tunnels, complete with electric lighting and ventilation systems, running straight under the U.S.-Mexico border. In 1990, U.S. officials were stunned when they discovered one of his first tunnels, 300 feet long, wired with electricity and ending inside a safe house. El Chapo used these tunnels not only for smuggling, but also as escape routes. By 2010, another tunnel was found in Otay Mesa, even more sophisticated, with rail systems to transport construction debris and later the drugs themselves. In 2012 and 2013, more tunnels were discovered in Tijuana and Otay Mesa. His cartel earned the nickname the Kings of Tunnels. El Chapo chose tunnel locations carefully, favoring industrial zones like Otay Mesa near Tijuana in San Diego. The constant factory noise masked tunnel digging, while the soft coastal soil made construction easier and nearby mountains gave the tunnels more stability. Finally, in June 1993, Mexican authorities captured El Chapo and sentenced him to 20 years in prison. But even behind bars, he ran his empire, bribing guards, holding meetings, and continuing his drug trade. By 2001, with extradition to the U.S. looming, El Chapo decided to escape. He reportedly paid $200,000 in bribes and slipped out hidden inside a laundry cart. He remained free for the next 13 years, expanding operations, digging tunnels, and smuggling more drugs than ever. Eventually, in 2014, Mexican forces tracked him down and raided his home. True to form, El Chapo vanished into a tunnel hidden beneath a bathtub, but this time they caught him before he could get far. He was placed in El Altiplano, Mexico's most secure maximum security prison, under constant surveillance. But even there, he had a plan. On July 11th, 2015, cameras last captured him walking toward the shower, the only blind spot in his cell. 30 minutes later, when guards opened the cell, El Chapo had vanished once again. He had expanded the shower's drain and escaped into a tunnel leading to a larger one underneath the prison. This escape tunnel stretched over 1 kilometer, ran 33 feet underground, and was 5 feet 7 inches tall, large enough for someone to walk through. It even led to a construction site outside the prison. His second escape was even more daring than the first, but this time his freedom didn't last. On January 8, 2016, Mexican Marines stormed his safe house in Los Mochis. After a fierce gun battle, El Chapo was captured once more. Realizing the threat he posed, Mexico handed him over to the United States in 2017. He now serves a life sentence at ADX Florence, also known as Supermax Prison in Colorado, the most secure prison in the U.S. And yet, despite the security, some still fear that if anyone could escape Supermax, it would be El Chapo.